Michael Rowlands, who is a feminist YouTuber, made a video recently that I quite appreciated because he was starting the conversation on trans issues. Michael made this video saying there's more than two genders and that there's more than two sexes, and people felt like, yeah, I have to take down Michael because Michael is a stupid SJW, he's a piece of crap, I have to destroy him because that is my purpose in life, to take down Michael because he's an SJW.
You opened your video with how appreciative you were that Michael began the discussion on whether or not there are multiple genders. What do you think a conversation is? Did you expect everyone to agree with him out of the gate? Because that's not a discussion, that's a circle jerk. Have you spent so much time in feminist circles you've forgotten that disagreements often occur in conversations? You don't care whether or not there's a conversation, you just care that your message gets heard because you're right and that's all that matters to you. You cannot both be glad that a conversation was started and lament that the conversation is now happening.
So this person, A Helping Hand, made a video responding to Michael, and I have to say, it fucking distressed me. It was a sick video because the entire purpose and point of his video was to point out how anyone who has a different chromosomal makeup than XX or XY is wrong. There's something wrong with them, they're hideous freaks.
Not that they are wrong, but yes, they do have something wrong with them, as is evident by the fact that having those particular chromosomal configurations leads to a lot of negative health side effects. A Helping Hand's point was that these chromosomal configurations are conditions. They're syndromes. They are not themselves sexes that we need to distinguish from male or female. Now, rather than make the case that these conditions should qualify as sexes, which you would do if you were interested in having a conversation, you're going to bemoan the tone and perceived lack of respect you think A Helping Hand extended to people with these conditions.
They're not needed for the reproduction of the human race. And it sounds like Nazi eugenics to me. It literally sounds like these people are not needed.
Is there an extended cut of A Helping Hand's video where he goes into detail about how he wants to exterminate the degenerates? Calling someone you disagree with a Nazi is generally a way of shutting down conversations. What happened to the beginning of your video? You dilute the impact and usefulness the term Nazi has as a descriptor when you apply it to everyone you disagree with. In much the same way Michael dilutes the usefulness of the term sex when he starts applying it to conditions and syndromes. Or when other social justice advocates throw around the terms misogynist and racist to describe minor slights. Why do you hate the utility of language?
Just from a humanistic perspective, it's like these people do exist, they are alive. We want to try to make life as good for as many people as we possibly can. If you have any relations or any friends or anybody that you know who are disabled or have any kind of condition, we want to try to fucking help them. To me, one of the problems of edgelordism is it's anti-humanist. It's basically dehumanizing these people and saying that you're sick, you're not needed, and you're disgusting.
Where are you getting this from? Did I just miss the bit in A Helping Hand's video where he talks about how people with these conditions aren't deserving of our empathy or support? The people with the condition aren't the problem. The condition is the problem.
I guess we can try to breed people out who are not to our liking in life, but your fucking attitude, it's sickening. It's fucking repulsive. I find it weird that because people want to own or destroy SJWs as much as they possibly can, they're willing to say the most repulsive shit.
Putting aside the fact that you don't seem to be adequately representing his position, do you think A Helping Hand isn't being genuine when he makes his case? He's saying all these horrible and disgusting things merely to get a rise out of SJWs. People disagree with you, and you need to get comfortable with that fact. Not everyone who you think is repulsive is being repulsive for the sake of repulsing you. I didn't realize how on point I was in my initial assessment, but You really didn't want to have this conversation. You wanted, and expected, everyone to just accept Michael's position on this topic. No dialectic, no clashing of ideas, no refinement. Just accept this position. Look how right it is.
You know, just as long as they feel like they've won some kind of argument. But what Michael was trying to say was, these are people. These are fucking people.
And here's a clip of a helping hand saying that these aren't people, they aren't deserving of our empathy, and we should gas them. Oh, that's awkward.
Not everybody who has a different chromosomal makeup is suffering from some kind of disability. There's just something that this person has made up.
The degree to which a person is negatively affected by an abnormal genotype will vary on a case-by-case basis, but complications will usually arise. But let's say no complications arise. Is someone with an abnormal genotype neither male nor female? No, we can still classify them as either male or female. The XXX and XYY genotypes probably have the lowest negative impact of any of the configurations, but those aren't different sexes. The first is female and the second is male. Now, if sex is a spectrum, as Michael Rowlands made the case, is someone with XXX more female than a female? Is someone with XYY more male than a male? And is it important that we treat these super sexes as distinct from their standard counterparts?
Because they seem to have a rabid hatred for anybody who's not male or female.
They don't agree that there is anyone who is neither male or female. To them, that is a set that contains 0 people. So it'd be a bit hard to make the case that they hate anyone who fits into this category in which they think no one is in. This is akin to creationists who say, "You're an atheist. Why do you hate God?" I don't believe in God. When a helping hand is describing the negative complications and the undesirability of having Jacobs, Turner's, or Klinefelter syndrome, is he expressing disdain for the people that have those conditions, or is he commenting on the negative impact the conditions have on those people?
And I would say that we have evolved to the point where we can say, just because somebody can't reproduce or create for mankind exactly what we want, and then other people paradoxically complain about overpopulation, doesn't mean that they're lesser people. It just means that they're different, and I don't see any problem with being different.
If someone is mentally stunted and has deformed sex organs leading to sterility, is it unfair to say that this person isn't optimally healthy? Because that's putting it mildly. But again, describing the undesirability and the damaging effects their conditions have on them is not the same as denouncing them as bad people. No one did that. You're projecting hateful intent onto people who are not expressing hate.
You know, Bering in his video made a point of saying they are abnormal, Michael. They're an abnormality. I would prefer that you said they are a variation. They're a variation on human development.
Absolutely not, you monster. Some of these conditions are very damaging, potentially life-destroying. You do a disservice to the people suffering from them when you treat their conditions as merely a variation on human development. No, they have something wrong with them. You're obfuscating the severity of these conditions by giving them flowery, neutered language.
What the fuck's wrong with that?
Everything the fuck's wrong with that. Even those who don't suffer because of abnormal genotypes still have an abnormal genotype. That is the accurate way of describing their condition. And even then, those aren't new sexes. If you've conflated abnormal with bad, that's something you're going to need to sort out on your own time, internally.
You know? But it seems like edgelordism is trying to dehumanize other people as much as it possibly can. And it's sick. You sound like fucking Nazis when you say shit like that. It makes me want to throw up, because you're so uncaring, you're so cruel. If anyone is just so much just slightly different from you, you'll say just about anything about them.
So you take great exception at using terms like abnormal to describe people because you think that's dehumanizing. Best you not use it to describe people then. Fuck your hypocrisy, fuck your undermining of the severity of medical conditions, and fuck the rest of this video.
These people are not there just to be used by you. They are human beings.